Look, as someone that has experienced 120K a year, you have to be one of the dumbest people I've ever met on this app. If you could look in this camera and tell me that you would take $120,000 to stay home instead of $240 to just go to work when it was required to go to work before COVID, are we serious right now? Who do y'all think y'all are? What convenience is worth $120,000 being taken out? Are y'all crazy in this economy? Bro, you tell me to travel to West Bumble for 120K more, I'm out of there. Y'all need to get... What are we talking about?
So I once again find myself commenting on matters of money, and it just goes to show y'all don't like the bag like I like the bag. Y'all really don't. Anyway, the conversation this time around is this. Would you rather $120,000 a year but you're fully remote, or $240,000 a year but you got to go in the office 5 days a week? Now, as you can see, I'm in the car. I'm in front of my house. I'm a remote employee. I've been remote for many, many years now. I also make a good chunk of change. I'm uniquely qualified to speak on this. I'm telling you from my own personal experience, take the fucking money. 240 bands? Are you? Y'all don't comprehend how much money that is. We are talking about well over $12,000 a month. Imagine every 2 weeks you get a check for $6,000. And all you got to do is going to the office. Listen, I don't miss having to sit through traffic and having to get dressed every day and go talk to them people. I really don't. I don't hate it nowhere near enough to turn down 120 bands. Y'all got me fucked up. I don't know what it is about that office that got y'all scared shitless like this, but I promise you it's not that bad.
As someone who's lived through toxic work environments in the corporate space, I wanted to get in on the discussion about choosing 120K to work remote versus 240K to go back into the office. Most of the videos that I watch, everyone is saying that the Gen Zers are the ones who are choosing the 120, but I'm a millennial and I would choose 120K to work remotely every time. I think that people have to realize the 240K to work in the office is going to come with a price tag. As someone who now knows she has ADHD, the office setting isn't really designed for the neurodivergent brain. And with my experience working from home, I get to set the tone in the environment that I work in, which has ultimately increased my productivity, my concentration, and my performance overall. Working from home, I no longer have to code switch for 8 hours a day. The microaggressions still exist, but there are a list of perks that will come with working remotely that I think are way more valuable than a $240,000 salary. People are saying, why would you give up double the money just to stay home? But at the end of the day, you're really taking home like $150,000 a year. Then you have to consider commute, childcare. Again, you cannot put a price tag on your mental health. Not having to mask for the sake of keeping my job, I'm definitely choosing to work remotely every time. At the end of the day, bottom line, there's no dollar amount that I'm willing to sell my piece for. I tried that and it's just not worth it.
I genuinely thought you guys were joking whenever I saw discourse around the 120K remote versus 240K in office, until I actually started seeing full-on think pieces of people actually preferring their 120K remote. And a lot of the argument was around flexibility, not wanting to pretend to like your coworkers, and so you just don't have to talk to them, wanting to do things throughout the day, having your peace of mind, quote unquote, the cost of transportation and paying for lunch, things like that. And y'all, I'm actually so disappointed. Just for argument's sake, I'm not going to say that one is better than the other completely, because of course there are trade-offs with both, right? Like, you don't necessarily want to be in office, and any job that's going to pay you 240K is probably going to make you work for that 240K. At the same time, though, I feel like if the crux of the argument always comes down to flexibility, how flexible can your life really be with 120K? Like, I feel like we kind of need to get to this point where, like, and even for me, right? Growing up, I thought 100K was like literally $1 million. And then when I touched my first six figures, I was like, that's it. You even enter a new tax bracket and you barely see the money. I don't know. I didn't really feel like a huge shift from when I was making 75 to 100. I really didn't. Didn't feel the shift when I was making 120 compared to 100. And so for you to actually have real flexibility, you need to make a lot more money. And that is just a fact, especially with this like looming economy boom. Yeah, y'all, like 240K, the better choice is to take double what you would make. I mean, I just feel like it's common sense, but I'm also like, Y'all be so pressed to be antisocial, and I don't understand it. Like, yes, corporate is political. Yes, there are a lot of things that kind of, are whatever about it. But at the end of the day, if you truly want flexibility, if you want to be able to live a life where you can comfortably do a lot of things, you want to start a family, you want to do all those things, you are going to need more money.
30,000, or no, sorry, $120,000 remote or $240 in person. Now, this is coming from somebody who has basically worked remotely, if not like a hybrid type of model, my whole career so far. Why are we negotiating whether or not we would go in person if the difference is $120,000?
You to the people who want the 240, who are jumping on the folks who want the 120, are using the wrong terminology. You see, they're stuck on the work from home terminology, but they really should be using the remote terminology, because it's not working from home, it's remote. The real question is, do you want a job that pays you $240 to be in office 5 days a week, or do you want a remote job that pays $120? I know that seems pretty straightforward, but I can tell that people are missing the point, because they're talking about, oh, you want to wake up and put on your PJs and turn your camera off so bad. And it's like, no, you're not always going to be working from home. You're going to work from wherever you want. You're going to be remote. So if you understand that concept, then you understand that sometimes I might be working from home here, taking meetings from my bed, and other times I might be visiting another country, taking meetings from the poolside there. Or for other people who don't live in the same city or state as their family, they could be visiting with family and friends while still working their job effectively, efficiently, just like as they were in office. So there's clearly no right or wrong, or no, good or bad. It's just really what you prefer. But we need to be clear on what these things actually mean. What it means to be remote is it means that you have location freedom. You can work from literally wherever you want. And what it means to be in the office, it just means that you're making more money. There's no other freedom to that except making more money, because even if you're making more money, you don't become more free. You're still bound to that office 5 days a week unless you're taking vacation. So although one job does have double the money, it has none of the freedom. Like, there's zero perks to taking the more money except the more money, which is still going to be controlled by the people that you're working for. I think that part really goes over a lot of people's heads, because you have to understand, if you're still begging and pleading or matching with other coworkers' calendars about when you can take off and when you can go here or how long you can be in a certain place, and the more money is, they just bought a more expensive slave at that point. You're not any different than anyone else who's making less money. Someone in your building's making 70 grand and you're making 240. Essentially, you are exactly the same. You don't have more freedom than that person. Again, like I said, there's no right, there's no wrong, but we need to get on the same wavelength in terms of what these things mean and how they play out in reality.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Tech Baller, helping you turn your talent into profit via the internet. Guys, the world is changing. You are the currency. The new players are turning their talent into profit via the internet by creating a 6-figure remote online business that finances their lifestyle, living life on their terms. That's the new rich. Guys, remember to like, share, subscribe. I must go live. I'm out.